not. They're working for everybody else. They are bought and paid for. You don't get the top job unless you're bent or crooked or both. So it has been, Blind Freddy has been able to see for decades that China is a problem. And yet they continually make money off it. This is all about just making money. That's all they care about. And so you've got billionaires that are making big money, like Clive Palmer. Clive Palmer made, I think it's $3.8 billion, it was reported in Forbes, in his dealings with China. Now, China is not a sovereign nation. It is a criminal cartel. This nation is killing Australians. This nation is buying Australia. And yet these people make money with it. So and again, just to give you some evidence, this is not the first time it's happened. And let me just tell you this bit of history so you understand that our billionaires are trading with a murderous criminal cartel and watching us die. Now, has this happened before? You betcha. Henry Ford, Ford Motor Company, provided engine for the Wehrmacht in World War II. So there are American GIs and British Tommies and Australian diggers being shot at by Germans, killed and shot at by Germans, and there's the Ford Motor Company providing motors for the Wehrmacht to drive their vehicles. Standard Oil, owned by the Rockefellers, were producing an additive for aircraft engines, high-performance aircraft engines, because at altitude, some of these aircraft, the engine would start to knock. And so this additive was required to continue their high performance. Now, Standard Oil was providing this additive throughout the war to the Luftwaffe, the Nazi Air Force. Rockefeller and Ford could have brought the Luftwaffe and the Wehrmacht to a halt. But they didn't. You know why? Because they were making money. And the billionaires in Australia, who will have some questions to ask just like everybody else, are doing exactly the same right now. They are making money with this criminal cartel called China. That's why nothing is done by it. Because the politicians aren't interested in looking after Australia. All they want to do is get a pay packet and get paid off when they leave. Because, again, this is common knowledge. It's in the history books. It's there. And I've been in this game since breakfast. And how come I can find out this stuff? And our eminent and preeminent and our wonderful political leaders who couldn't organise a piss-up in a brewery haven't found this stuff out. So China is our enemy. It has been for decades, and treasonously been assisted by our governments, by our bureaucracy, our military, by the judiciary, everybody.
Well, Ricardo, can I ask you this then? We've got the Beijing Winter Olympics happening next year. Would you like to see that boycotted from our Olympians, or do you think they should continue?
I'd like to see the criminal cartel put up against the wall and shot. We should have nothing to do with China. And by the way, people say, oh, it's not the Chinese people, it's China, it's a CCP. Well, until the Chinese people get off their lazy backsides and take over their country, it's not our job to save them, because they are crushing Australia. They own most of Australia. And by the way, that'll be rectified quick smart. Every square inch of this land that's owned by the CCP or China or a Chinese billionaire, because you don't get to be a Chinese billionaire unless you're a signed-up member of the CCP, we will take back with no compensation, and we'll give them 24 hours to get out of the country, or they spend the rest of their lives in jail. No, China must look after China.